Once again, you are still tuned in to RNMRBG TV. We keep it G. I ain't gonna waste no time. We're gonna get right into it. Going to this weapon right here. I told y'all about that a minute ago. I said we was gonna read a couple passages out of this. Falsifications of African Consciousness. Dr. Emerson Wilson. Get it. We're gonna take it over to page 15. History and psychology, right? Like I said, I'm gonna be jumping around a lot, so don't even really get caught up in the exact location nonetheless. Just get the damn book nonetheless and read the whole thing. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about for yourself. But I'm gonna be jumping around. Just follow with me, walk with me. History is projected in this culture as being irrelevant. I don't think by accident. Again, if it is made to look irrelevant, it is made to look unprofitable, then making it appear so must serve some profitable purpose. When courses in college or university are apparently presented non-politically, objectively, neutrally, they are actually presented in the most political way. We must understand that in its nature of the racist culture to hide its political agenda. Therefore, it presents so-called facts and information as if they have no political connections or implications. Roll that around a little bit. We're going to do a little bit more jumping. Because basically, before I even go any further, my purpose, excuse me, my purpose is to show you the connection of history. From past to present to future. How it's all continuous until changed. It's all continuous until circumstances are altered. One way or the other. It's going to be a constant flow. The years or the numbers nonetheless of the dates may go up in number, may go forward in number, but the actions remain the same because the thinking remains the same. The speech remains the same. It's all connected. History is a very big part of this. And the reason why I'm coming before the family with this one right here is because we got a lot of folks that like to run away from history or run with distorted history. It's all propaganda. But nonetheless, we continue. It's so much things I really don't even go with, really and truly. Just give me a minute. Just bear with me, family. But like I said, my whole purpose is to show how the fact that history is very much needed. So what? Like people like to say it's in the past, but the past affected your present. That's on both sides of the playing field. Us as a people and our oppositions, our many oppositions. Their history has plays a major role in what they do today. Our history, as well as the history that has been distorted and redistributed back to us, plays a role in why we do what we do today. Our thinking is not of our own. Our thinking is of those that gave us the mindset that we have today. Psychology is a big thing, man. History is a real big thing. Here's another one. Simply because we choose to forget a traumatic event, simply because we choose not to learn from a traumatic history and a history that make us feel ashamed, does not mean that history is not controlling our behavior. Simply because we do not know our history and may have not heard of it, does not mean that the history does not control our behavior. I'm gonna go back to another one. We think we have escaped its effects thereby. We can hear some of our uninformed children say, quote, "That was back there 100 years ago. That ain't got nothing to do with me today," end quote. The black child at this very point is most still affected and suffering from the slave experience, whether he or she knows it or not. In fact, Rutherford Jacoby says in his book, Social Amnesia, exactly because the past is forgotten, it rules unchallenged. I don't think y'all hearing what I'm saying, family, so I'm going to say that part again. Exactly because the past is forgotten, it rules unchallenged. Translation: because you failed to go back in time, if you will, in this present time, of course, but because you failed to look at the past mistakes, the past downfalls and traps and that and third, your ass keeps going and getting caught up in the same traps, downfalls, and pitfalls, time and time again, because the history was unchallenged. Translation: you didn't do anything to halt the course of action. You didn't do anything to redirect that course. You followed the same course that was laid out for you hundreds of years ago. We got to get up out of this trap, family. And that's exactly what it is. It's a big trap. Amnesia is a state where a person seeks unconsciously to forget aspects of his or her past life because apparently those aspects are painful. Therefore, the individual seeks to rid himself of them. And this is another thing that's also major within black people. This is something very major. Again, because of what happened from the late 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, even early 1900s, right? Dealing with as far as physical bondage. Even coming from the East, dealing with the Arab enslavement, the Saharan slave trade. Dealing with that because that plays a major part. So you're talking almost 2,000 years of turmoil, trauma, pain. A lot of people don't want to go back and look at that because of that painful experience. So they figure, just like the text just said, if I block it out of my mind, it no longer exists. If I don't look down that way, it no longer exists. You understand? I no longer have to look at certain people as competition or adversaries in my day-to-day living. I don't have to do that way because that part of my history no longer exists. It's irrelevant. But at the end of the day, you choose to do that on your own free will. Meanwhile, those of our opposition, they don't forget the past. They stand on their past. They live in their present based on their past. So everybody that was an adversary to them, an opponent to them, or, things of that nature, they still treat them as such. That will never change. That will never change. That will never change. You are who you are to them. They they should be who they are to you. But nonetheless, you block that out, it's irrelevant. That's a state of amnesia, family. How long have we been in that state? Far too long. There are those of us who are made ashamed of our history of enslavement, who are made ashamed to be distorted, made by the distorted presentation of African history, which is why the European distorts it and presents it in the way that he does. Are made to think that prior to slavery we are essentially culturally invisible and savage, only it achieved visibility and civility when the European came on the scene. That's another thing, family. Again, history is very vital because it shows all of your life. The ins, the outs, the goods, the bads. You understand? So, we've been so caught up on the propaganda of the African by way of the European, right? His presentation, again, just like the text just said, the way they put it out. The cartoons. The postcards during the Reconstruction era, the media going on right now, case in point, which being the movie's about to come out right now, that whole Gods of Egypt or whatever. They got white folks portraying African guys, African priests, African people nonetheless. But they'll throw you in the movie as a slave. This is what you have fallen victim to, family. You have fallen victim to the trap that they have set perfectly. You understand? All because you fail to realize, all because you fail to adhere to, all because you fail to look at history. Prior to all the chains, the whips, the lynchings, and all that good, bad shit nonetheless. Prior to all that negative trauma that we endured, right? We were a mighty people, great people on this planet before anybody else was even a thought. You understand? Did things that folks can't even figure out how shit was done till this day. That was us. So you need to look at that, because at the end of the day, when you look at things like that, it should give your black ass a sense of pride. What I've broken down into an acronym: personal reverence and deep essence. Pride. It should give you a sense of purpose to reclaim and do better than what you did before. Your history is your story. You've gotten caught up in his story. Let's flip the script. We like to change up words, right? No problem. We have that right to do so. We have that ability and responsibility to do so anyway. We have to redefine things for ourselves, right? So instead of just saying history, how about we say our story? Let's do that. That'll give you a sense of ownership. That'll give you a sense of belief even. A sense of knowing even, which is better than belief. Don't run from the past because the past affects your present. Don't run from the past because the past affects your future. It all ties in together, family. All in together now, right? All in together now, right? I'm gonna read one more thing, and I'm gonna pretty much just let it rock. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, I had to get this out because I thought it was relevant. Aha, here we go. But we should heed the fact that a person and a people who suffer from social amnesia live lives that are determined by fear, anxiety, and trauma. We then live not in terms of our reality and in terms of the integration of our reality, but in terms of what we are afraid of. We are ashamed of what we are trying to hide, what we are trying not to confront ourselves with. Life is then lived in terms of denial, in terms of escape, in terms of addiction. History is directly related to our concrete existence. I'm going to end it right there. Look at the way we're living out right now, family. When you go back into time, when you go back into history, when we go back into our story, would you say the way that we're living right now in these present times is in accordance to the way that we naturally live, the way that we naturally gave it up as a people on this planet, all around this globe? Or can you honestly, in your right mind, in your sane mind, clear consciousness, honestly say to yourself that, yeah, shit was changed. Shit was definitely changed by somebody else from an outside source. Shit was definitely changed. And based on that change, it's doing them a whole greater benefit than it is doing us. You have to honestly say that. Can you honestly say that? When you honestly say that, you will then get serious in your studies of our story. You will see our heights. You will see our decline. You will see our, I guess you could say, flat line nonetheless, where we are right now. Spark it back up. Spark it back up. Spark it back up. But in order for that to happen, again, you got to have some sort of recollection, some sort of memory, because that's going to project your present. It's going to project your past. I mean, your future. When you think, again, you already know, you speak. And what you speak, you walk. Your walk, your speech, your thought should all reflect that of your story. Your story. Not a story given to you. Not a distorted story watered down, given to you, forced on you to live out. Because at the end of the day, that's not your story. You're living somebody else's story. You may have, quote unquote, physically manifested it, but that's not your story. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it, you didn't produce it. That ain't your story. So nonetheless, it's not authentic. We have to re-begin nonetheless, to self-validate, family. Don't be afraid to do that. Define things for yourself. Validate yourself. But in order to validate yourself in these times, you got to take it back to the past. And then live up to date to go further. Thinking ain't illegal. Living black ain't wrong. Get the text. Pass it on. But in the meantime, between time, I appreciate you, family, for walking with me the way I walk with you. You know how we do. This is RNMRBG TV, and you know we keep it G. Raw and uncut for the common people dealing with the common issues, trying to see common solutions. Our thinking is a common issue. Regaining and recapturing and thinking better is a common solution. Thinking ain't illegal, family. I am your brother in Google, now you see RNM. Uncle Jobson, Uncle Tuap on Black Power, family. Always remember and never forget that black love is a cure for the black nation. So let's get it. Think, speak, walk, bang out.